Heavy is the head that has to manage all of this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel.
We're now incentivized to buy what we already buy.
Fumbling through college had me building.
I also got some done on the other side.
And that was right around, I would say, May, maybe, right before renewing the lease for this property. Welcome to the channel, Martha.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I was going to say, I am getting up there in age, I'll tell you what.
Bills paid by other people, life was never this good. I had to step back, knowing that it's...
How much value do you add? As an individual, as a person who works for a business or owns their own business, how much value do you add? When you look across your company, when you look across the company that you work for, how much value are you adding to the business? Are you someone who is dispensable, someone who they can easily toss away without a hitch, nothing goes wrong whatsoever? Or are you someone that is more relied upon, someone who truly does add value? And how significant is that to the company? And are they paying you your worth compared to that significance, right? So one key principle that I learned throughout this process is understanding survival and understanding how companies tend to treat those who are always in survival mode, right? Another reason why it's imperative that you become rich, and rich is just the first step. We all want to become wealthy, right? Wealthy is the ability to literally say goodbye to any form of work, even any form of business, understanding that you have created enough wealth to sustain yourself for the entirety of your life. Now, once we cross over to generational wealth, that's when you've amassed enough to not only take care of yourself fully for the rest of your life, but then also your family. And that's like a layered process, which we'll get into in other videos. But for this point of topic, we're talking about simply being rich, the ability to dictate whether or not you'll accept a certain level of treatment before you decide to walk away. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are so financially stable that you do not need a job. And it also does not necessarily mean that you're in a position to start to leave jobs. But it does mean that you are of the mindset that, hey, maybe I'm so qualified that I can find a job in abundance, or I make so much or earn so much or have saved so much that there's no stress on me whatsoever, knowing and understanding that I can not only pay all my bills for a decent period of time, but I can also, look for jobs and choose jobs that I want to work for, and not necessarily jobs that I don't necessarily want, right? So in this high interest rate environment, we're definitely going to see a trickle down effect to where those who are just not qualified are no longer being taught the skills necessary, are no longer going to be trained, right? They're looking for those who are experienced and able to do the job from the jump and immediately. So how much value do you add? That's a question that you'll have to answer. And then I'm also going to sprinkle in another key wrinkle that I was going to leave for a different video, but it's just being self-motivated. Having self-motivation is going to really put you years ahead and leaps beyond your peers, because in some ways you'll also be indispensable. You'll see that people are going to want those who motivate themselves to do good, not necessarily needing metrics or needing someone to be on them constantly in order for them to reach goals and be productive. Someone who is able to really self-assess themselves and manage their own behaviors to where you're just going after it and getting it no matter what you do. And this is not because you necessarily need a job, but it's because that you work hard at everything you do, from your job to your finances to your love life to relationships, all across the board. And so this level of dedication to understanding and becoming who you want to be within your field also takes into account that you are working hard and that you are really applying yourself so that you are the best version of yourself when you do go and ask for a raise, ask for a promotion, or apply for a new job. They may not know who you are, but once you do get in there, they know who you are and they know how you are when it comes to the jobs that you do. Now, we're going to transition in other videos into more business topics because not everybody wants to work for someone else. And for those of you who are more interested in just being your own business, being self-employed, or even employing others to do things for you, we'll get into topics like that in later videos. So please do bear with me. Now, one key aspect that you must take from this is understanding that you not only need to be in a position to where you can have money set aside for a rainy day, just being financially responsible in that way, having your emergency fund, but also understanding that with the value that you're adding, how does it compare to other industries, and how will that allow you to really pierce those other industries and get what you deserve. So for example, if an industry pays $30 an hour for, I don't know, a police officer, and you know that you've been on the job for X amount of years, you have this pay scale, but you're only getting paid $26 an hour. And you're like, hey, with all the work that I do, I understand that I'm working harder than others. I deserve to be paid $30 an hour. You're not asking for more than what the average is. You're asking for the same. You're asking to be treated fairly. And they're saying we can't do that because of budget restraints, this and that. But you know that other people are coming in, they're making around 29, 30, right? Maybe they can't pay you 30, but they should at least be paying you the 29. Now, obviously, most jobs don't want you to talk about your salaries and how much you're earning and how much you're making versus someone else. But at the end of the day, you're understanding that that minimum is no longer the case, especially if someone is transitioning from a police officer job in another county. And again, we're just using police officers as an example. Then we already understood that they're probably making what you were making and now are looking for something with an increase or a bump in wages. One thing I did learn from working with Amazon, I had a great manager. His name was Zach Cruz. There was one time I was making $50,000 a year, as you all may know. This was my first career job when I started working at Amazon. And I was, I would say 21, 22 years old. 21 or 22 years old, right around there. I was probably 21 turning 22. And so as I'm working for Amazon, making this $50,000 a year, we have these bonuses, we have these, we have all these packages that are available to us. By the end of the year, I ended up making $65,000. But there was a point in time where I was actually going to leave Ohio, and I was going to transfer to Texas. And I'm telling you, even if it was for $5,000 more, $10,000 more for sure, I would have been on a plane on my way to Texas. But they offered me the same amount of money to transfer over to the Texas facility. And to me, that didn't make a lot of sense. I'm sure that they can see my metrics. I'm sure that they can see my rates. I'm sure that they can see my ability to perform and that I'm outperforming for my market in Ohio. And yet, although I opened the facility, although I trained every single member, they may not know all these things, but they offered me the same amount of money to pack up all my stuff and transfer over to Texas. To me, that didn't make a lot of sense. So I told my manager, I said, I was looking at the Texas job, and he was like, why didn't you take it? Why didn't you go? And I said, well, it's because they didn't offer me anything more. They offered me $50,000. And you know what he said? I wasn't screaming or anything, but he said, why are you so angry? And I was puzzled by that question. I was absolutely puzzled. Now, mind you, 21, 22 years old, although I have the business acumen to run a business and function and literally be shooting on all cylinders, there are some things that I have yet to master. And sometimes it's not putting my emotions even into those things that affect me personally, such as how much am I getting paid. So obviously I knew I was worth more based on my productivity versus everyone else. But there was no way of communicating that to the Texas team, and it wasn't going to change anything while I'm speaking to my manager here at Amazon. And he just said, "Why are you so angry?" And I had no answer for that. Although he may not think that was something that was very impactful for me, it was very impactful for me to just stand there, digest it. He walked away. And he's a great guy. He's a great dude. And I just really just sat there and said, why was I so angry? I have a job. Sure, I wanted to move to Texas, but that was my want, right? Although I got the job over whoever else they may have been looking at, they decided that this is what they're going to pay for that position, regardless of what I was able to do. And while I'm in my first year, they didn't want to pay me anything more. So it was incumbent on myself to then look in the mirror and say, hey, for what I am doing, am I being paid fairly? When I accepted the job, I believed that I was being paid fairly. And when COVID struck, there was more pressure on me as a manager to be the relationship manager for my team. So there was a responsibility that I was unaware I'd have to have as a manager, which I full-heartedly took on. But when they raised the hourly rate for the associates, they did not do so for the management team. They did not apply bonuses for us. And so we were the last to be fed, in a sense, which is okay. Definitely feed the team first and ensure that they're, thriving and surviving. It's always good when your workers are able to thrive and do more than just survive. And so I was happy to see that. And it was to the point where all of my associates, and mind you, I had 100 associates, there were some that were making more than me, and those were the ones that were working overtime and things like that. So imagine all the training, developing, or the coaching, I even pack for my associates because I am someone who is very hands-on. I like to get into the thick of it, give them a break, pack for them, show them that not only will I pack for you, but I'm going to do it faster than you so that they aren't focused on their rate while I'm speaking to them. And in Amazon, it can be very quiet. It can be very isolated. So if your manager stops by and says, you're doing a great job, boom, 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 let me pack a few boxes. I'll pack maybe like 3 totes. And by the time I'm done, I'm simulating me packing right now. And I really am that quick. When I move, my hands are just like this. Slide. I'm just all hands on deck, and I absolutely love it. And it's a great feeling when your associates are looking at you with a smile on their face. And it's not because you're talking to them, it's because you're packing so fast and they're like, ooh, my rate is going up and I don't have to do the work. It's a beautiful feeling when your associates know that you can do it too. And so I truly do believe that impacts their rates, and it impacts how they take the job seriously. Obviously, I don't expect them to pack as fast as I do, and nor am I doing it for as long as they are doing it throughout a day or a shift. But when I do pack for them, I'm sure that they're very excited about that. I add value even to my team, and that doesn't necessarily deserve a reward because they're doing so much for me already. But how much value do you add? Understand that within your business, understand what that pays, understand if you're in a position to where you are finally getting to the point of being rich. You saved enough, you survived enough, and it's time for you to thrive. What are the steps, the actionable steps that you're taking to show that, hey, I am worth more. Are you valuable enough to say, if these people don't want to pay me, I'm walking away. If these people don't want to communicate with me, I'm walking away. If these people don't want to show me that I'm worth something, I'm walking away. Well, if you're not there yet, continue to subscribe to the channel, continue to watch the videos, as we will definitely get you there. And if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube and on Rumble. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.